Hello there.
Hello, my name is Paradox Mint, your magical prince from the realm of dreams, here to bring fantasy to your reality. And today I am doing an edited video instead of streaming. Me updating my farm to look very pretty, because this is going to take a long time, so I'm doing this on my day off. So, for those of you that don't watch my live streams, you might not know this. I am on year 2, fall 1, and I've decided that now is the time that I am going to update my farm. Let's zoom out. And this is what we're working with. It's the start of a season, but because I have certain upgrades, everything is sort of set. I've tried to do some decorating, but I feel like I could do so much better. And so that is definitely what we're going to be working on. I'm first going to show you guys what skill perks I do currently have. And for that, I am going to bring us back in close. So first things first, this is something that is very useful. Chopping down trees and stumps now drops double the amount of wood. In order to make a lot of things, you're going to need a lot of wood. You also get farm debris will spawn 50% less often. This perk can be toggled on and off. It's just a nice little thing that you can do. And yeah, coral and crystals now drop materials. And then you also have... sod, peat, and cattails can now be purchased at the carpenter store. These are game-changing if you want to make your farm look as optimal as possible. And now you get voiceover mint. So I will say optimal a lot. I mostly just mean for me. Also, you can see here that first things first, when I start a new season, I have to do my new fit. So I have this cute new outfit, putting away all my things. But I'll say the word optimal, but I don't actually mean optimal. What I mostly mean is just like, this is how I prefer it. But gotta zoom out again so I can see everything. First things first, I need to bring my animals to Hayden, but before that I realized, oh, let me actually pet and feed all my animals so that I could get the shiny beads. But then it's like, all right, if I want to move my barn, I do have to first bring all my animals over. I'm selling the golden ones. I don't want them. I'm looking for the seasonals. But then we're just going to go ahead, switch everyone over. I can take my barn. I'm not able to take my coop at this point in time because I actually have 2 bunnies that are currently waiting to have a baby. And I decide that I need a new chest to hold all these things because my other chests are kind of full right now. So it's like, yeah, it won't hurt anything to make another chest real quick. I love how where I have it, you can't see it. But alright, so we got a chest, and now this is where I'm going to be throwing all of the things from the barn. I then decided this is a great time to start cleaning up. I don't know why I decided that, you know what, I can't be looking at this stuff no more. But I eventually get back to actually, like, bringing down things that are important. I'm not going to be cutting down my seasonal trees. They were a lot of work, and personally, I'm fine with just having one of each. I don't feel like I really need more than that. And you'll also see that I'm not going to take down that tree that's right up there. Yes, it's fall, so you can't even see it right now, but that is one of the trees that will be pink in the spring, and so I've literally had that since the day my farm, like, was first born. But yeah, you can really see the ADHD come into play as I'm like, oh, let me do a little bit of this, let me do a little bit of that. But right now I'm just really trying to get rid of everything so I have a better, clearer picture. And again, just, you know, getting distracted every so often by, let me clean up this little bit of debris. It's funny because I made all of those little pavements, and this will be the last time you see them. I decided that the pavements were not that pretty, so I didn't, like, put them back down again after I had reorganized. And now comes the fun part of me trying to find spaces for everything. So thankfully, you guys won't see a whole lot of that. I cut out a lot of my chest organization because I spent a lot of time inside my chest trying to figure out where to place things, and I was like, I don't think that's very entertaining for you guys. But now I'm just doing a sweep of my farm, making sure that I got everything. Clearly I didn't because I forgot that I had this stuff up here. But once we have all of that, everything is done. All that's left is my trees, and I'm going to be leaving them again so that I don't have to wait for them to regrow. It's in this moment that I decide that I need seeds. I need to go get some fall seeds. It's fall 1. I want to make sure that I have seeds. I'm still getting the request board stuff, even though it is year 2 right now. But I go ahead and I get the 2 fall trees, and then I'm zooming in closer so that I can actually see what I'm buying. You guys can buy whatever you want. You guys are going to plan out your fields as you want. But this is what I did, and spoiler alert, I did not buy enough seeds, so you'll see that later on. I spent a while trying to figure out the placement, because again, I don't want to have to like dig up these trees, rebuy them, and replant them, and I'm trying to just make it like this little like path-lined orchard. And now you see my poor attempt to make a heart. I am in my menu, in my pause menu, so much during this process because I cannot figure things out. I also did have to talk to Caldaris. He hasn't given me any new information, any new stuff to say, but I still have to talk to him on the regular basis. And I cut out a lot of the time paused to check on things as I'm making this heart. Trust me when I tell you this video was originally over an hour long. Closer to an hour and a half, and I feel like the majority of that was me paused in a menu trying to figure out how to make that heart. And seeing it now, it's like, oh, that's so easy. But when I was making it, I was so dumb. I could not figure it out. And you'll see that when I work on the second one, but I do a little happy dance because yay, I did one heart. I'm so proud of myself. And I want them right next to each other, so here we're doing another heart. I know some people like to do like the heart with wings. I just wanted to have 3 hearts because I like the symmetry of 3s. And yeah, the time is like, hey, you should be going to bed soon. But no, this is what I do. And then I'm like, wait, I fucked up. And I don't know how I fucked up. And I'm struggling so hard. For some reason, in this moment, I could not figure out what I had done wrong. You just see me struggling so hard to figure out what. But unfortunately, it's time to go to bed before I pass out. I got excited because there was a legendary fish, but unfortunately, it was a moot point because I'm not going to get the legendary fish today. I'm focused on making sure that this farm is as pretty as possible. I gave myself a deadline of like the first week of fall because in-game my birthday is fall 7th, so I was like, all right, I want to have the farm all pretty so that I can go to the tavern on fall 7 and drink with my buddies. That was my self-imposed deadline to have this farm pretty by. And see, I'm doing so much better on the 3rd heart. Eventually I did get a hang of it. There are some other parts where I try making hearts and it's a much easier time, and you're gonna see that in a second where I'm standing here trying to figure things out, and I realized I didn't give myself enough space for the pathway that I wanted, because you can't move your house, and I decided, you know what? I was hoping that I had a save file from before I made that first heart, but I didn't, and I just said, screw it. So we're back here, I'm making the path, I'm getting rid of the heart. My suggestion for other people that are trying to make their farms look pretty is just, if you have to completely tear it down, tear it down. Thankfully, I'm in year 2 at this point, and I just feel like I have the time and space to do so. So now I'm trying to figure out again my heart placement. Anytime you see the pause menu up, please just assume that I am looking up on Google images of other people's farms to figure out how to do the heart placement. Eventually, I can do it now without having to constantly look at a picture. But in this moment, I was still very dumb. And you see me again, still forever being like, wait, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right. I finally realized it. That second heart is always the one that gets me. By the 3rd heart, I'm a pro. I got this. And do my little happy dance again, getting everything ready. And now it's time to hoe. And thankfully this one is a lot easier because it'll only hoe the places that you've already shoveled up. So I don't have to worry about messing it up. In the middle of that, I decided now's a great time for me to tidy things up again, which was a mistake because it meant that I didn't have enough time to actually do things. I do save periodically, especially because my game has crashed a total of 3 times since I started playing it, but each time it's been very sad for me. Now I'm trying to figure out how I can do things. I needed a little bit of tomato soup. I wanted to have the heart ones for aesthetic reasons, but then I wanted to have a regular size normal plot under here. And then you realize here I'm figuring out that I can't actually make this as symmetrical as I want. There's no real way to do that. So I stick with the 3x3 for now. Before I decide that I'm going to expand each side and then have the other one go down. So that I'll have the 3 hearts for aesthetic purposes, and these 3 plots are more so that I have an actual space for my crops. And now finally I decide I can actually start planting on the 2nd day of fall. But I get so far, realize that I don't have enough seeds to finish this little plot of flowers. So I'm like, all right, forget it. I don't have enough time to do that. So I'm doing my best. I'm alternating to the best of my ability. My decorating skills have definitely improved because you'll see at the end of the video that this was not my first go ahead at decorating my farm. Most of the bare bones that I start here do stick though. I don't even have time to water it. I need to sleep. So next day I'm adding more of my seeds, trying to really do this little symmetrical thing. Do a pretty layout where the outside is one type of plant and then the inside is a different type of plant. But I'm also fairly broke because I'm trying not to break the game this early. So I'm trying not to make a bunch of money. So I only sell what I need so that I can keep getting seeds. And then of course it's time for me to do the rain because I'm not watering all that right now. But my babies did have their children, so I moved them all over. And now I can finally move my last building. Play the game of trying to find spots for everything. Finally remember that this thing exists, this horrible little eyesore. And now it's time to make the pathways. I feel that it's easiest to design things if I start with the big things first, and I decide there that, you know what, this little, like, divot actually looks nice. It doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical. Perfectly uniform, I should say. I make a pathway all the way down to the water, get distracted by cleaning up debris. And now I'm gonna make my pathway from Hayden's farm over to where my house is. And again, I like that I have to go up a little bit, make it a little bit less uniform. And now I'm making it even less uniform. I like this little thing that makes it look more like old-fashioned-y, more worn in, more lived in. I don't want my farm to look like it's been like artificially created, even if it has. Once I finish the pathway, I'm once again cleaning up, just getting rid of all of the rock, all of the stone, all the wood. And now I'm slowly starting to put things back. I know that I want my well next to that tree. That's where I like it. Fun fact, that is not where the crafting table is going to stay. But I do know that I wanted my little barn area to be here over on the left side of the farm. Because I do want to have 4, so right there you see me wagging my mouse cursor around. That's where I'm going to have the other 2 once I have the money and supplies for it. But once again, it's time for sleep. The next day, I sell a bunch of food so that I can buy things, because I can only afford 1 barn or 1 coop. I can't afford both right now, so I did have to sell things. But I go with the barn because it's the biggest one, place that down. And then I figure out from there where I want the pathway to go. But as you can see here, they are once again not symmetrical, which drives my brain crazy. So I will be moving that barn. And then I'm trying my best to line up the pixels, and it's like, there we go, we did it. Now it's time to rustic this one up. And I saw someone else do this, and I liked the idea where it was like this little like median, so I have those two sides, and then I have the little grass in between, and then I decided having this little two endpoints looks really cute. It's the only part that does look more artificial than organic, but I was fine with it. This is the permanent placement for the crafting bench. I did like that one. Now is when I decide this is a great time to move over my chest and give myself a new chest placement. I don't like all my chests over here by Caldaris. I think he deserves better. I managed to move over most of my chests, but I run out of time. So next day I'm just doing some more. Up here on the right side of my farm are all of my seasonal stuff. So my pink one is my spring chest, and you can see them up there just a little bit. Adding all of these beautiful little, I don't really know what they're called, but little gateways is what I essentially call them. Adding a little picnic area. And once again, I also got this from someone else's idea, is using this little potted plants to make it look like my trees have more leaves than they do. And then I'm adding all of these, which involves a lot of hardwood. I go through so much hardwood. And then I have these planters from the Spring Festival, but I didn't have enough, so I put that one there, and I think it looks nice. But yeah, for my chests, all of the ones that are on the left side are bugs, monster drops, stone, wood, that sort of stuff. The only things that are on the right side are my seasonal chests. The spring one is pink, the summer one is yellow, the fall one is purple, and the winter one is blue. I decided that I didn't like the way that they were stacked up, so I decided to just have them next to each other. And even then, that still is not the final arrangement of those logs. But I'm slowly opening things up, trying to find things, trying to find placements for things. Essentially, the best thing you can do is just constantly put things down, decide if you want them. I like that this became this like little crafting area for me. And then I like that the entrance to my farm is very pretty. Decided to have one picnic area there. And there, I finally decided on the placement for the logs. They're gonna be next to each other. Now it's time to do all these little stone paths. I decided to alternate between the single and the double just to give it that more, like, woodsy, not very uniform. Like, I'm trying to be uniform while also trying to make it look a little bit more organic. And I'm just trying to place them where I think a normal person would walk. They don't really change your movement speed or anything like that, but I think it's nice. And I know that I'm gonna put my fountain there, so I put that there. Once again, the seesaws are not gonna stay there, but that's where they're going for now. I try so hard to figure out what I'm gonna do with that pathway before I decide I'm not gonna do anything. And then I like having that little Caldaris next to the big Caldaris. Managed to put down a few more things over next to his shrine, get those up. Trying to figure out where I want this star lantern to go before I realize that it's 1:30 and I need to be going to bed. So I say, all right, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Next day, we're back down here. I love seeing the little firefly lights, and I decide that I'm gonna have to make another one there for the archway. It's in this moment that I also realize I should have built up my barns so that I could see how big they would be before I place things down, but it's not that big of a deal. But I finish up this little picnic area. I decide to add even more picnic areas. I'm like, yeah, you know what? We can have a little picnic area right there in the garden. And then we have another picnic area here next to the river that I consider more like our barbecue area. Collecting more of my things from the chests. And so now I can have two little setup areas. What I did up there in that corner, I love, where I put the flower boxes. For a while there, I can't figure out where to put the other flower boxes. Eventually, I will put them there. And you see again where I'm like, I want it to be a bit more symmetrical. So instead I place a light there to give myself some nice outdoor lighting, plus my fake lilacs, because lilacs are my personal favorite flower. And I decide to alternate where The first one will have a light and 2 fake ones. The next one will have a flower and then 2 lights. And eventually I will add another 2 flower beds. Once again, just making a little pathway, trying to alternate it. Have my little orchard area that leads to the animals. And see, some things do have to be off-center, and it does drive me crazy, you see that, but in the end, I think it looks nice. That moth lamp was the bane of my existence, but we will get there. Putting up my little fencing area to keep my animals in. Decide that I don't like that there. If it's not going to connect all the way, then it's fine. I throw this here, and this is another thing that will eventually disappear. I do like how the white fencing looks with the white archways. I'm just sad that they won't connect perfectly, but it is what it is. Decided to put my scarecrow right there, cute little bean. And I finally decide, you know what, I don't have another planter right now, but I think that's the best place for it, and I decide that in spring of next year, I'll just go ahead and get myself another planter. It's in this moment that I realized that it was Saturday and I need to go to the Saturday market to give flowers to people, to give loved items. So I do that, and now I'm back on the farm after going to the Saturday market. I also made sure while I was at the Saturday market to get a coop. That's when I decided that these are not placed in the good area, so I move them. I decide this is a good fencing off area. Once again, use my magic to water my crops. In this moment, I realize I need 2 moth lamps, but I don't have another lantern moth to make one. But I want more lighting. I'm just not sure what lighting I want to do. But I grab my stone and my wood, and I just throw everything in there to build everything. Do not look at the way that I have named my barns and coops. They did not stick with these names. I just could not think of anything good in the moment. Don't even worry about it. My barns and coops did get different names by the end of this video. And now it's my birthday! This was my self-imposed goal. I'm putting all of the animal products back into the barns where they belong. My goal is to have 1 coop be for ducks and chickens, the other one to be for capybaras and bunnies, 1 barn to be for horses and alpacas, and the other barn to be for cows and sheep. So you see me separating things like that for each animal. Because my goal is to have 6 of each animal, 4 of the seasonal variants, and then 1 pink and 1 purple. I also did buy some things from the traveling markets, from the Saturday market yesterday. I'm trying to figure out what other things I'm gonna want or need. Because at this point, I'm really getting into the final touches. I've gotten all the things, all the big things. Now I'm trying to get to all the smaller ones. And yeah, my best advice for decorating is to just put something down, see if you like it, and if you don't, try something different. And expand as you go, because I put down that basket, but that second blanket isn't going to have anything for a while. And I did make a second birdhouse because I wanted Caldaris to have some birdies near him. I make another flower lamp so that I could put that where, in theory, the next flower plot is gonna go. And I do really love these star lanterns, so I finally put the pair there. It has not been there in so long. In this moment, I'm like, huh, what do I still have to do? And then I decide to craft more. I got the play sets for the second picnic. I'm trying to figure out if I want to put any rugs down, any more lighting. For a second, I think about using the chess table. I've seen other people do cute things with it. I decide against it personally. But I decide that, yeah, I could use some nice flowery shelves. So I make 1 of each of them. I look at the amount of clay that I have and then decide that I'm gonna make as many of these potted flowers as I can. I also realize that to make some more archways, I need more hardwood, which I don't have at this moment. I think about putting them there in front of the tree before I decide that I'm gonna use this as like a more organic blocking off area. Eventually I find the placement for all the trees. Zoom back out, get a good idea of what I'm working with here. And I feel pretty good, but then I realize that there's more things that I haven't put down. So I put a little stone seating area next to Caldaris, you know, so I can sit down and talk to him. A little pathway to get closer to him, a pathway to the picnic area. And then I decide I don't need the rest of them, so I'm gonna put them away. And I still have those other stones too that I put away. I get really happy showing off all the happy birthday things that I get, including Rice giving me hardwood for my birthday, which meant that I was able to make another archway, which was the exact thing that I needed for my orchard area. So Rice gave me the best birthday present, and now we are on the day after my birthday. You can see the garden. It's so fun. I'm running around showing it off in this video, showing how easy it actually is to water my plants, despite the fact that I planted them in like the quote-unquote not optimal way. But it's still fairly easy to water all the plants. It does take about half my stamina to water all of them, but because the middle one is just for aesthetic, once the flowers are fully bloomed, I no longer have to water it. And then I spent some time picking things up, gathering things. I accidentally harvested the sweet potatoes. I was supposed to show that off on stream. But you start to see the vision before I realize that I need to bring my animals in. At the time, I don't have many, but I go in and I come out so that you guys can see them playing with their things. And then they still weren't, but there we go. Now I finally got an image of them playing with their things. And I'm showing off my beloved bunny, Marth. He is my favorite bunny in all the wide world. But this is just the beginning, because in between making this first video, I decided, well, I didn't get to this editing quickly enough, so I actually was able to do an updated version. So now it is a year later. It is fall of year 3 now. And I can fully show you how well decorated everything is. So we start in my bedroom. I have my little calendar here. Crystal roses, fake lilacs, all my favorite things, some other decor items that I haven't found places for yet. My bedroom is still a little bare, but there isn't enough that I want to throw into it yet. I really love this area. Here's where I keep all of my produce to make things, my cute little kitchen area. Little bread box. I actually have the sink in here to make it look more like a kitchen, plus I have the kitchen island, my little reading nook area, along with my little journal to save. And then we got our little seating area for both me and my future husband, Marge, with the finished food products. And then our little aquarium. And then the bathroom, which is also pretty bare bones, but I still like it. Once again, I have a towel for me and a towel for my future husband. I realized that I didn't have that coral lamp on. There's literally just a wreath in here just because I can't figure out where else to put it yet. And I do have to get another sink for the bathroom because I put the bathroom sink in the kitchen. But then we get outside and you can clearly see the differences. Once again, I still kept all my birthday wishes. This is actually from year 3 birthday wishes now. But if we go to the side, you still have all the chest stuff. I did eventually get another planter and I extended the white fence down along the way. The orchard is now complete. But assuming we're gonna get the plum blossoms, I do have a spot still open for that. And now you can see I renamed them. We have Together We Ride for my alpacas and my horses, Seasonal VTubers for my cows and my sheep, Your Turn to Bunny for my bunnies and my capybaras, and Fruity Idols for my chickens and my ducks. All based on the way that I named them. And you can see here I have these firefly lamps and crystal lamps with the purple and pink hearts. And I ended up turning the longer plots into smaller ones with the 3x3. And I've actually learned my aesthetics. I got these little blue and yellow star sitters. I finally got the second moth lantern. I got these nice little picnic areas. I got this little fishing area, you know, just to sit with an aquarium. This one hasn't changed much, thankfully. I just was able to finally make the little seating cushions. I had an extra lantern fly, so I placed that there. Got our little crystal garden with our fire for our barbecue nights. This one probably hasn't changed much, but I did add this, which to me makes it look like a cute little wedding altar. Like, it looks like I'm getting ready to get married to Caldaris. And then I'm going in and out of my house a lot to try and force my animals to play with their things. Because as you can see, I added a lot more seesaws and sandboxes for all of my animals, because I do have 48 of them in total. And I don't even have 48 yet. I'm still waiting for a few of the seasonal ones, but this was my completed farm. It will obviously be updated as we get more things, but as it stands now, I'm really happy with it. There's definitely room to improve, but I think playing the game for longer, especially getting the ritual artifact set up so that I could get those colored tiles, works out very nicely. I would have loved to have done more of them, but I do like my pink and purple heart because it also goes well with the fact that I only ever keep one pink and one purple animal, and the rest are all seasonal ones, because that's really the aesthetic that I'm going for. Obviously, as we get more items, this will change, but for now, I think it looks great. Thanks for watching.